You're listening to the Full Court Press with your host, Drew Duncan. Don't you dare touch that dial. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Full Court Press. I am your host, Drew Duncan, and today we're playing What Would You Do Rather Than See a Chargers Game. Our special guests in the house are Tony and Joe. Tony and Joe, you get 10 seconds apiece to give me your answers. Are you ready? Yeah, there, Drew. This is Joe, and I'm very well ready, and I appreciate you having me on the program today. Hey, how you doing? This is Tony. And I'm ready, too. It's a good looking out. I appreciate you having me on the show today. It's a very nice gesture. It's very nice. I appreciate the thought for having me on. You're both very welcome. Here we go. 10 seconds. Joe, you're up first. The question is, other than see a Chargers game, what would you rather do? Well, Drew, I'd rather have my prostate examined. And judges say... Good job, Joe. You're on the board. Well, thank you, Drew. And I scored there quicker than the Chargers, I think. Right you are, Joe. You sure did. All right, Tony. It's down to you now. This is for the win. Can you do it? Yeah, I think so, Drew. I think I could do this. Give me the question. All right. Same question. Tony, what would you rather do? Would you rather go to a Chargers game or... Well, Drew, I'm going to risk it all, and I'm going to say I'd rather eat sushi from a gas station. And judges say, oh, Tony is the winner. Why? Because gas station sushi will probably kill you, and you'll most likely survive your prostate exam. But thanks for trying, Joe. Tony, guess what? You're the lucky prize winner because your prize is tickets to a Chargers game. Hey, Drew, can I give these back? Sorry there, Tony. Prizes are non-refundable. 27,000 people fit in the StubHub Center in the Los Angeles Chargers. Can't fill up the stadium. People are like, no. I'm not going to that game, bro. No, there won't be enough seating. Oh, you mean there's plenty of room? There's plenty of room at the StubHub. Oh, I didn't know. I had no idea, man. Just to kind of put this in perspective for you, for everybody out there listening, and I use this as an easy example because I guess I'm from Kansas. The Kansas Jayhawks football team averages 34,000 in attendance by last count. 34,000 in attendance. Now, look, KU football is as relevant to college football as MTV is to music now. You understand what I'm saying here? This is the same KU football team that nobody knows what the hell happened. We just know a bunch of linemen laid down for the quarterback, and we don't know if he was trying to teach that guy a lesson, if they were doing some kind of weird blocking scheme. Nobody knows what the hell it is. The point is this. People would rather go see that team play a game of football than they would the Los Angeles Chargers. What does that tell you? And it's not like the Chargers are getting stomped. Yeah, they've lost both of their first two games, but they had the almost comeback against Denver, which ended in the blocked field goal, right? And then they played a pretty good game on Sunday. So I don't know where the disdain for the Chargers is. But this is why they allegedly left San Diego in the first place, was because they couldn't get the attendance over there either. They were, what does the NFL league have? Like a standard of like 38,000. People were holding up signs, trying to get the team to stay there. Well, here's the thing. You have to go to a game. You have to go and watch your favorite team play and buy jerseys and buy tickets and hot dogs and stuff unless they're your favorite, I mean, if you want them to stay there, that's what you got to do. Now, because of this, the NFL is saying that they're not sure whether or not they still see Los Angeles as a viable place. I think a big part of it does have to do with the Raiders leaving. I think if the Raiders were going to stick around and play those three teams play each other every year, and there was good football going on, I think it'd be different. But there's not. The Raiders are carrying the weight. Now that they're good again, they're set to go to Las Vegas, and apparently nobody cares about the Rams or the Chargers. I mean, obviously it may have been now the Rams at least are getting some seating. I think, even though we see empty seats, the word is that, 60,000 attended for the first game. I think it was 56,000 roughly for the game against Washington. Now, I've got a lot of Rams fans on Facebook, and they're telling me that the TV screen was lying to us and that a lot of people were actually just up in the stands because it was extremely hot during the first game. It was like 90 degrees, I guess, is what they were saying. And so a lot of people were, standing underneath bleachers and whatnot and trying to, figure out ways to cool down. And a lot of them were up in upper areas trying to get some shade. And, who knows what's the truth, right? But with the Chargers, at this point, we know this much. There's absolutely no denying it. Now, look, there are a lot of rumors that have been going on for the last couple of years about attendance and all that kind of stuff, particularly in the NFL. And the word is ticket prices. Now, of course, I could give you a ticket price, but the price of a ticket in Kansas City is not necessarily the price of a ticket out in L.A. I just don't think anybody wants to see the Chargers play. Whether or not it's just a bunch of fans who have decided to revolt against the team, whether or not it's a boycott, whether or not people just aren't interested in Chargers football anymore, who knows? But here's what I do know. The stadium is supposed to be built by 2020. That's for L.A. Teams to share, i.e. the Chargers and Rams. They're supposed to have the 2028 Olympics there, but if there's no football to have there in L.A. and the NFL decides that this isn't a market for us anymore, which is why everybody could be vacating California, because let's be honest, right now college football is taking – this is the thing I have been telling people. College football for a long time has been the premier sport. And a lot of it has to do with the way things are done in the NFL now. A lot of it has to do with the NFL making it so complicated to watch a game of football. I just talked about it, how on a Thursday night, they can't seem to stay consistent in what they're going to do. You get 8 weeks in one station, then you got 8 weeks at the other station. This year they're doing 10 games on Amazon. They did the first game on NBC. Then they're doing 3 games strictly on the NFL Network. It just, none of it makes sense. Roger Goodell, the guy's, the perception of him is a madman. The New England Patriots, a lot of people don't like them. They've decided that they're cheaters, and, Tom Brady with the Deflategate and Bill Belichick with the Spygate, and people feel like their wins are tainted. That's not a good look for the NFL, and it's not like the NFL did anything to really protect their brand. And after all, Roger Goodell claims that his witch hunt after Tom Brady for the Deflategate thing, which drug on for 2 years, by the way, was because they botched or didn't handle the Deflategate right. And, it's just like, it's madness. People just aren't interested in that. And more so, people are not going to be interested in bad football. I mean, to me, loyalty is a thing. Obviously, being from Kansas, there is one thing I know. That Chiefs Stadium, if that team is 2-10, it's going to be a packed house. There's one thing I know. If the Kansas State Wildcats aren't playing great football, there's still going to be a packed house. There's one thing I know, that if KU continues to be KU, they're still going to pack that place out. Well, not exactly pack it, but people are going to show up. Loyalty is a thing. Maybe the Chargers have lost their fanfare. Who the hell really knows? All I know is I have a lot of football fans from a lot of different teams that are on my Facebook, and I've only got one known San Diego Charger fan. At least that admits to it. I don't, whatever the complaints are down there in L.A., probably not San Diego, but down there in L.A. with the Chargers, whatever they are, I can't believe it's more legitimate than what's going on with the Rams. Rams are a 1-1 football team. They haven't made the playoffs in how long? And I mean, even when they were still St. Louis, not doing very well. every year you would look up and go, this is a good, solid football team, and then kind of the same thing this year. People expect Goff to be good. Obviously, you've got Tavon Austin. You got Sammy Watkins, decent running game, not a bad defense, at least not a terrible defense. You're in a good division in the NFC West. Doesn't look like Seattle's going to be able to produce much of anything. 49ers probably aren't going to be very good. Doesn't look like Arizona's going to do much of anything, especially with their running back Johnson out most likely for the season. I mean, at the end of the day, why aren't people willing to go see a Chargers game? People aren't going to see 49ers games either. Maybe the boycott is real. Maybe there are people who are legitimately boycotting the NFL because they want to see Colin Kaepernick on a football team. All those people who made fun of everybody in the comments section, remember? Oh, it's fine. They're casual football fans anyway. Are they? I've been seeing a lot of Kaepernick jerseys around here. More than I did before, I'll tell you that. More than I did when he was playing and going to a Super Bowl. I'm not giving you my opinion on Colin Kaepernick. I'm just saying that's a legitimate possibility. Out there in California, people may be very legitimately boycotting the NFL because Colin Kaepernick doesn't have a job. Whether you think it's right or wrong, that's up to you. And I'm not saying that is the case. I'm just laying down a theory. That's all there is to it. But what I do know is that at least the Rams have some attendance. But the 49ers and the Chargers are both. Neither one of those teams are producing fans right now. Neither one. And so if the NFL doesn't see them as a viable option, out the door. I mean, what does that do for everybody else? You got to remember Phillip Rivers, and maybe he knows something that we don't, but he refused to get a home out in L.A. He won't do it. He left his family back where they were from in San Diego area. Right? The big news, he bought himself that little camper basically to sleep in and all that kind of stuff. He was traveling back and forth and doing all those things. Maybe Phillip Rivers knows something that we don't know. We all poked fun at that. Maybe he's going, you guys have no idea what's going on. Whatever the case may be, if you don't have fans, you don't have football. So what you have to do is you have to start looking around the rest of the NFL. Denver packed out. Most other stadiums are packed out. So right now it's California football. You could say it's the weather. You could say whatever you want to, but that could be the deal. A silent protest does speak volume, guys. It really does. If you don't believe me, look at the silent protest from Colin Kaepernick. People wanted to know. We're all digging, trying to figure out why nobody's attending a game of football. The 49ers have been just as bad as they are now. People were still showing up. The Rams have always been the Rams. People were still showing up. Of course, then again, Oakland is out there. No reports from them that I'm aware of them having null attendance. So maybe it's just because they're tired of watching bad football. That could be the case too. Maybe they're just tired of watching really bad football. Maybe they're tired of the Chargers only winning a few games. Maybe they're tired of the 3-13 seasons from the 49ers. Remember, before Harbaugh showed up, that team was, they had been done for a while. Harbaugh showed up and basically helped save the day. Then they said that, he lost the locker room and all this stuff started going on. He left, slow downhill climb again. Whatever the case is, nobody's interested in watching those 2 or 3 teams play football for the most part, it looks like. And whatever it is, whatever's going on, you better figure it out quick. Otherwise, there won't be any football left for the NFL in California. And then, of course, we know how that go. Fans will go, wait, no, come back. Depending on the situation. If it's a protest, they might be saying, out the door, dude. See you later. Don't let it split you, dude. If it's just because of bad football, then they're going to go, wait, no, hold up. We'll go. We'll go to games, man. Matter of fact, didn't the NFL set a precedent, by the way, for televised games? You have to have so much in attendance? Or they changed that, right? Whatever the case may be, I'm asking you, what would you rather do other than see a Chargers game? This is the Full Court Press. I am your host, Drew Duncan. You guys are checking me out live from the K-Sun Studios out here in Wichita, Kansas. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, a lot more to get to. Kansas State football against Vanderbilt, the New England Patriots, and Tom Brady. Obviously, we'll be talking about the Detroit Lions and the New York Giants. We're going to be talking about that as well in the program today. Get your comments in at Drew Duncan83 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're live from the K-Sun Studios out here in Wichita, Kansas. We'll be back right after this. Don't you dare touch that dial.